Tonight on ABC 12 News at 5, we will be bringing you a story about a Huron County family and its quest for justice after their father passed away. The man wanted to be an organ and tissue donor, but after his death, he was denied that last wish. Joining us live this morning, ABC 12's Terry Camp from the Great Lakes Bay Region Newsroom, talking more about this story with a preview. Good morning there, Terry.
Good morning, Matt.
Yeah, listen, this overall sounds like just a heartbreaking situation. Tell us a little bit more about how you came across this story and what the family is wanting.
Well, Matt, yeah, I heard about the story through an attorney's office, and we've been working on this story for a little while. The story's about Clifford Rogenbuck. He's 77 years old. He's from the Port Hope area in Huron County, an area I'm dear to, being from the Ubly area. So Clifford passed away in August of 2023, and it was after surgery. It was still quite a surprise to the family. But the family was buoyed by the fact that he was an organ and tissue donor. He was a registered organ and tissue donor in Michigan. So the preparation was, after Clifford had passed away, the process was beginning as far as he was going to be a donor. He was going to be a cornea and eye tissue donor. And then all of a sudden, that didn't happen. And you talk, Matt, about it being an emotional story. After talking with Amanda Rogenbuck, Clifford's daughter, 2 years later, the emotion, there's still a lot of emotion here. Emotion, first of all, the fact that her father, who she adored, passed away, but also the fact that that part of him that she thought would live on with someone else, it didn't happen. So, and that's what happened. And there's a lawsuit involved here, and there's also possible legislation that could come out of this as well.
Yeah, interesting the fact that you said, laws could be changed because of this. I think we're going to play a quick clip, a preview of your story, and then I'll ask you a few more questions.
Sounds good.
It was the one positive that would come from it, was knowing that part of him continued on.
He qualified to be a cornea and tissue donor, and Rogenbuck was on the phone with the Ramsey Funeral Home in Harbor Beach, making arrangements shortly after Clifford's death.
We knew the hospital was aware because they called Gift of Life around an hour after my dad passed, which is what they're required to do, and notified. And then Gift of Life put a hold on my dad. And once a hold is placed by Gift of Life on a body, the hospital, the funeral home, the family, no one has the authority to override that. You are a donor until they decide you can't be.
But someone made the decision that Clifford couldn't be a donor.
And Terry, it sounds like this family is, turning their grief into action. What do you think is going to be the biggest takeaway for people who watch your full story tonight?
Oh, it's a good question, Matt, because I think there are a lot of people, there are millions, of course, in Michigan that are organ and tissue donors. And I would think for some that are hoping they'll be able to do this, it might be an eye opener for them to, they want to make sure this does happen. So, and this is what this legislation is possibly about. There are two pieces of legislation that we'll talk about during the segment that is going to air at 5:30 tonight. And so I think, and I got a feeling that this has happened to other people. It sounds like there's a bit of friction. It's no fault of the funeral home, but there's this bit of friction between Gift of Life and funeral homes. So we'll talk a little bit more about that at 5:30 as well.
Yes, definitely an interesting scenario here. Listen, thank you so much, Terry, for your time this morning, and we look forward to your special report, as you mentioned there, airing later this evening on ABC 12 News during the 5 o'clock hour. Thanks so much, Terry.
All right. Thank you, Matt.
We are back right after this.